published 22:22 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 17th of June 2018, updated 22:22 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 17th of June 2018. The combined powers of superheroes, the Pixar brand, and a draft of family-friendly films helped Incredibles 2 become the best animated opening of all time, the biggest PG-rated launch ever, and the 8th highest film launch overall. Disney estimated Sunday that the film earned $180 million in its first weekend in North American theaters, far surpassing industry analysts' loftiest expectations, which had the film pegged for a $120 to $140 million debut. The previous animation record holder was another Pixar sequel, Finding Dory, which had a $135 million launch in 2016. It was Disney's live-action Beauty and the Beast that held the record for a PG debut with $174.8 million in 2017. Smash hit Incredibles 2 become the best animated opening of all time, the biggest PG-rated launch ever, and the 8th highest film launch overall this past weekend. You don't get to this level of opening without appealing to everyone. Whether you're a fan of animation, superheroes, or just out to have a good time and want to see a good movie, said Kathleen Taft, the head of distribution for Walt Disney Studios. We had a film that had something for all ages. According to Disney, adults made up 31% of the audience, families accounted for 57%, and teens 11%. Incredibles 2 comes 14 years after The Incredibles, which at the time boasted one of the biggest animated openings ever, and picks up right where the first film left off with the superhero family. Brad Bird returned to write and direct the sequel, which has been overwhelmingly well received by both critics and audiences. "This is one of the biggest ever performances I've ever seen," said Comscore senior media analyst Paul Garabedian. To overperform by $40 million means everyone underestimated the power of animation to draw huge audiences. Powerful opening. Disney estimated Sunday that the film earned $180 million in its first weekend in North American theaters. The previous animation record holder was another Pixar sequel, Finding Dory, which had a $135 million launch in 2016. Incredibles 2 is also the second biggest ever Dune debut, behind only Jurassic World $208.8 million, which has its own sequel preparing to take a bite out of the box office when it opens in North America next weekend. It knocked Ocean's 8 to a distant second in its second weekend in theaters with $19.6 million. Ocean's 8 still managed to outdo the non-Incredibles newcomers, like the R-rated comedy Tag, also a Warner Brothers release, which opened in third place with $14.6 million. Solo, A Star Wars Story fell to fourth place with $9.1 million, and Deadpool 2 rounded out the top 5 with an additional $8.8 million. Girls Club, it knocked Ocean's 8 to a distant second in its second weekend in theaters with $19.6 million. Your It Tag opened in third place with $14.60 million, and its Superfly remake landed in seventh place in its first weekend with $6.3 million, and Vertical Entertainment's Scotty, starring John Travolta, opened outside of the top 10. Playing in 503 locations, the long-delayed film, which boasts a 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, took in $1.7 million. After a slow early June, the box office overall is now running around 6% ahead of where it was last year, and will likely continue that growth next weekend when Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom launches stateside. Estimated ticket sales for Friday through Sunday at US and Canadian theaters, according to Comscore. Where available, the latest international numbers for Friday through Sunday are also included. Final domestic figures will be released Monday. The force is strong. Solo, A Star Wars Story fell to fourth place with $9.1 million. Incredibles 2, $180 million, $51.5 million international. Point 2. Ocean's 8, $19.6 million, $19.3 million international. Point 3. Tag, $14.6 million, $1.4 million international. Point 4. Solo, A Star Wars Story, $9.1 million, $5.2 million international. Point 5. Deadpool 2, $8.8 million, $9.8 million international. Point 6. Hereditary, $7 million, $5.7 million international. Point 7. Superfly, $6.3 million. Point 8. Avengers: Infinity War, $5.3 million, $3.1 million international. Point 9. Adrift, $2.1 million, $453,000 international. Point 10. Book Club, $1.9 million, $730,000 international. Reptilian Rapture, Jurassic Park: Fallen Kingdom is expected to pull in $170 million next weekend.